Hello and welcome. We appreciate you joining us here today, and we'll be getting started on the top of the hour. So get that last second coffee refill, and we will see you in about 5 minutes time. Hello and welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Today's webinar is all about GiveSmart Donor CRM and how it can help you elevate your donor stewardship and retention rates. Let's get started. Oh. Seems our presentation might be a little delayed. Sorry about that.
Well, Richard,
Yeah.
we just went through this and the slides are not moving.
Sorry about that, everybody. Seems we're having just slight technical difficulties, but it's all right. Give us just a few seconds and we'll see if it'll refresh for us. But while we do that, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce myself and also Nancy. So like I said, thank you everyone for being here. I'm just going to take a moment to meet today's host and speakers. So my name is Richard Council and I'm the marketing campaign manager for GiveSmart. Our expert today is Nancy Jones, an account executive here at GiveSmart and a donor CRM expert. So Nancy, thank you for being here and taking the time to be with us.
Oh, you're very welcome. We had our first test of the day. Is there anything more?
I think we're in good shape now. We're in a good spot. We're where we're supposed to be, so that's always good.
It always changes when you go live, doesn't it?
It did. PowerPoint had a little bit of stage fright.
It did. It did.
So really quick, some housekeeping tips as we get going. Please feel free to use the Q&A box for any questions you might have as we go, and check your chat box for resources and links we're going to share throughout the webinar. Our colleague Madison is helping us out on the back end, so keep any questions coming. Also, today's call is being recorded and the recording will be shared with everyone attending. Nancy, can you take us through today's agenda?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Richard and Madison. And thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your day to be here. So again, welcome. I am honored to be here today, and I'm really excited to get started. So with that, my goal for you all today is that you not only learn more about our donor CRM and how it can help your organization, but I mean, if you've got pen and paper handy, I also am hoping that this gives you pause to think about your current processes that you have in place today. So yes, there will be a live demo, and yes, there will be plenty of time for Q&A. So before we jump into the live demo, and I promise just a couple of slides, but before we jump into the live demo, I would like to take a few minutes to hear from you. So typically, when we are meeting with an organization one-on-one, we're absolutely going to have a more in-depth conversation to learn more about you, talk about the system, your pains, struggles, wish list. We will go into much more conversation in those at that time. But for today, if you could use the chat for your responses, these are the things that we would like to see. So what are your experiences today that are not working? What would be on that wish list that would be your number one must-have that would help you to be successful? And also great to know, what system are you using today for your donor management? It could be paper, it could be Excel, it could be another system, whatever the case may be. Anything that you can share in that chat response area is going to help our teams here. So while we're waiting for your chat responses, I always think it's important to give a little bit of background about donor CRM. So as you can see there from the first bullet, this was made to grow with your organization, built by fundraisers for fundraisers. So some of you may already know this, maybe not, but before we were GiveSmart Donor CRM, we were actually, and not that long ago, we were actually simply fundraising CRM. So I'm going to help you connect the dots here. So John Biederman, very well known in the industry, CEO and founder, and Nikki Kashup, co-founder of Simply Fundraising CRM, have a combined 45, maybe 40 plus years at least working in the nonprofit industry. And a few years back had a vision. They had a vision for what nonprofits could or should be using today for all their donor management tracking, something under one roof, something that was easy. So years of knowledge went into this CRM, additional research with, yes, other industry leaders, produced Simply Fundraising CRM. So why am I here today? So just a second about me. I also have 20, 25 plus years in the industry. So I did start out on the donor management side. I was introduced to wealth data intelligence analytics about midway through my career, which is fascinating information. But fast forward to November of last year, I was invited by John, Nikki, and team to be part of this adventure. So I took a hard look at it. It actually was not a difficult decision at all. I absolutely wanted to switch gears and be part of this particular system, this vision that they had for you all. So to give you kind of an insight into that vision, this was about of course, bringing security, right, in these times, something that's easy, intuitive, efficient, all things that you should have at your fingertips. And I've heard John say this, I can't even count how many times I've heard John say this, but he wanted to produce, develop, be behind the scenes of providing a system that just made sense, something that worked, something that is not complicated, and also a system that does not require a programming language. So here we are. We went from simply to GiveSmart Donor CRM. So if you fast forward a little bit more to March, April-ish of 2022, Community Brands GiveSmart also had a vision. So they were looking to include a professional donor management system to their already superior fundraising tools, which you are probably using. Some today, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but you know, their flagship product of GiveSmart events. And then they added Fundraise, GiveSmart Fundraise, which was formerly known as Mobile Cause. They added that to their suite about a year and a half ago. So next up was being able to provide their clients with the full system solution, everything in one spot. And that's why we're here today. So Madison, I have a question for you. Do you have any responses that came back from those initial questions that I asked?
We sure do. So we have a few that said that they are using GiveSmart without CRM currently, as well as using Excel. Some that are using MIP and looking for some more connections and integrations. Someone using Razor's Edge. So using Donor Perfect as well. So some mixed responses, which is really, really great to hear.
Awesome. That's exactly what I wanted to hear from that response. So a little bit more of, you know, why would you use a donor management system and not Excel, you know, something that everybody knows how to use? What can a donor management system do for you? So basically, you need this type of system to help you maintain a donor cultivation life cycle. That's kind of a large phrase. That's an umbrella phrase in my mind. So this is how I look at it. Are you using a system that helps you learn more about your donors and prospects, but specifically your donors? Are you using a system that helps you learn more about them? Are you efficient in your cultivation process? Are you good stewards with your constituent base? So what are your processes? And this is all this note taking. I hope you're taking down, and we're going to address when we go live here. But you know, what are your processes following up after receiving a gift? Is it difficult? Is it timely? And in timely, I mean, are you following up like within 5 minutes, or are you following up in a week? And are you communicating on a regular basis with your constituent base outside of a newsletter? You know, most organizations have a newsletter, but outside of that, are you strategic with your communication to your constituent base? And so, you know, maybe if you're doing all of these things, everything that I mentioned here, congratulations, that's awesome. If you're not, these are things that you should start thinking about. And if you are doing these things, you know, is there an easier way that you could be managing your donors and prospects, which is obviously what we hope to bring to the table here for you all. So one more slide. This is the last slide before we go into the live demo. Did you know, and this is research supported, that the average donor retention rate is in that 42%, 40%. Now, I will tell you, this is not a test. You can put your answers in chat if you want to, but I talk with organizations every day, all day. And when we talk about this particular statistic, I maybe have had one, maybe two, but I'm going to say one that really knew what their donor retention rate is. And they understand the importance of it, but they don't have a means to get there efficiently or accurately. And that's what our donor CRM also wants to bring to the table for you. So we're also going to talk about how Donor Search, our partnership with Donor Search impacts what you can learn about your donors. And then we're also going to talk about communications that are built into the system. So there's a lot going on here. I'm going to try to cover a lot of ground. Let's move now to into how to get out. There we go. You know, we're used to having things happen like right away, right? So the delay throws me off a little bit here. All right, Madison or Richard, I'm going to ask you to pipe up here and make sure that everybody is seeing what I'm seeing. Are you looking at the GiveSmart Donor CRM on your screen?
Sure.
are. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's move through here. So when you initially log into your system, this is where you're going to land. So I'm hoping to give you that overview of how easy it is to have a life and a day and in using this donor management system. But before I launch into that, I want to talk a little bit about technology. The technology that was also important to John, Nikki, and team to bring to this system. So somebody's going to ask, I know you are, it might be in the Q&A later, so we'll just go ahead and cover it now. But our security is Amazon Web Services, AWS. So we are using the latest, greatest security behind the scenes. What does that really mean? You know, in a day and age where data can be a little bit scary, our data is at rest. The system is built on an at-rest system. So for you techies out there, you know exactly what that means. And this is cloud-based, 100% cloud-based storage. So this is far more secure than you having information stored on your own servers or another system server or on-prem. You know what that all brings. That just makes you more vulnerable for breach and for hacking. So this makes the data easier, like on the company side. This makes the data easier for us to manage. It's more secure. It reduces costs. We pass that along to you. All in all, this is just this is the technology that should be used behind the scenes, especially when we're talking about constituent data. We also have single sign-on. The fundraising suite is moving to that globally across the fundraising suite. Simply Fundraising, now Donor CRM. We had single sign-on. John and team introduced that out of the gate. So single sign-on is near and dear to my heart. There is no password required, period. No password required. If you know your name and you have a unique email address or Google address, then this would be your entrance into the system. Now, again, remember I said the security is encrypted, it's at rest. There is a highly encrypted complex password behind the scenes, as there should be. That's what you want us to do. You want us to be the tech team so that you can go out and do your thing and raise more money, right? So, also, no mobile app. I'm going to get these little details out of the way. These are kind of these commonly asked questions. No mobile app. And the reason being, don't sigh and say, oh, darn it. The reason being is because you don't need one. This is based on that unique link that you would have. You can access the full thing. Nothing, no boundaries, no abbreviation. You can access the full system on any device. And yes, there is multi-factor authentication in place. So we've got you covered on all of those areas. So now let's move through the dashboard. So based on your email address, that will make sense when you hear me talk about it later, but based on your login, your email address, you're going to land on the dashboard. This is real-time reporting. real-time metrics, real-time, a lot of different features that we're going to look at. So you're always going to have this banner across the top that keeps you up to date on how successful you are since the first of the year. You have quick actions down the side here. So you can invite a team member. This is not user license specific, no additional fees, no hidden fees there. So you may have, and this is all part of strategy. We talk about this with you, but maybe you have board members that are super engaged in your day-to-day. They can have access to the system, and you would just easily pop that window open. Like I said, if you know their name and their email address, send them an invite, and they would go through the process of being added as a user. There is a navigation down the side here. Now, I'm only going to talk about this for a second. The reason I'm pointing it out is because if you are new to donor management systems, I want you to see here, kind of keep an eye on this, that there are no features or functionality left out that John, Nikki, and team knew the nonprofit industry needed to be able to cover. We're not going to march through, this one by one. But I am going to leave it open so that you can kind of keep an eye on that. I have found that that's been helpful in my one-on-one demos. Now, when you are a super user and you don't really care to look at that, you can always close that and just have icons on the side. But for today, we're just going to leave it open. Key statistics. These key statistics up front are helpful for you. These are statistics that you do not have to build. These statistics are coming from your engagement with your constituents, and they are stats that you should have at your fingertips at any time to take to a board meeting, to your executive leadership team right here. And it is in real time. These are stats that are recommended by the Association of Fundraising Professionals, FEP, the Fundraising Effectiveness Project. John is on the boards there, and he knew this would be important, so obviously up front and center for you. Donor annual revenue retention rate, donor retention rate. We're going to hit this a few times as we move through the system. So we talked about it on that one slide, but what this is really measuring, obviously, we are a highly successful demo database here. Oh, by the way, I always forget to mention this. This is a Harry Potter themed demo database, so you will see those names throughout and a little bit of Wizard of Oz in there too. But we are a highly successful database. But what these two metrics are measuring is your effectiveness at retaining donors and growing that annual revenue. It is looking at a past 12 months compared to prior 2 years. And we'll go through more detail on that in just a bit too. You've always got a running list of your most recent donor activity. As you can see, things are hyperlinked, so you can click in anytime, anywhere. My activities, love this. This is going to keep you from missing deadlines. Like you see here, looks like I missed one on September 16th to give Miss Luna Lovegood a telephone call. But if you are tracking grants, if you are, whatever the case may be, with following up with your constituents, this edition here of My Activities, your to-do list right on the front page, is going to keep you from missing those deadlines. We're also going to look at activities here in just a second, but when you do something that is forwarding or is a positive, I'm going to complete this because I actually did call Luna. We're going to pretend here. So I just forgot to complete it, but I did complete it, and you get a little burst of happiness there with some confetti. So this would be your to-do list. Keep in mind that I said that. Now, yearly comparison, you have a yearly comparison year over year. You've also got a donor map based on your location. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina right now, but when I do travel and visit family in Indianapolis, this instantly changes. I see exactly where I'm located. So it's always nice to have a map, right? But if this were a real database, you might be one of those that is traveling quite a bit, but you would see pins as to where your constituents are located, and then you would, maybe last minute be able to schedule a visit with them. So that's a very quick look at our dashboard, but I'm kind of leaving the best for last. So we have a smart search bar this is, and it actually is, it's a very smart search bar. So this has also known techie world, elastic search bar. This is indexed. So one of the common complaints from organizations is, I have a database of 100 records. I have a database of 50,000 records. It doesn't matter. I have a database of whatever records. It is hard to find these people when I quickly want to find one of the constituents in my database. So this is how the team addressed it. This is an elastic search, so you can butcher the name. You can typo the name and it will find the person. You can not only typo the name, but you can search on email addresses. You can search on addresses. You can search on phone numbers. You can even search on gift amounts. You know, maybe a couple of days ago, you were entering some, 50 plus gifts, can't remember a specific donor name that you wanted to follow up with. You can search on gift amounts. And then eventually, as you're using this database, it's going to start picking up on your algorithms. But, all told, it's going to think about what you're asking, and it's going to look at that index and produce options and, take you to the result. Oh, I almost forgot. Okay. One more thing on the dashboard. You can be searching on an individual's name, and it's, I need to do whatever it is I need to do with Ron Weasley. But because Ron is connected, has another connection to his record, he is connected to Hermione Granger, I'm going to see that in the search bar. Or if he was connected to a business or additional people. It's, like I said, and you've got some notes here that pop up. So very smart search bar. And I hope that you find that helpful. So usually, when I'm on a one-on-one demo, we usually have a super pause here and I get a lot of, positive reaction, but I'm hoping that speaks to you as well. Okay, so we're going, yes, ma'am.
Hey, real quick, we got a question while you're on the search bar topic. I just wanted to jump in real quick. Esther asked, can you find someone by their CRM ID code or their ID number in the CRM? Does the search cover that?
Ooh, you know what? I'm going to write that down because we're going to pick one up off Luna and I'm going to go back and see if we can do that. It searches on numbers, and as long as it's a system number, that should be a yes. So we're going to move over to Luna's record. I will pick that up. Let's actually do that. A lot of ways we can get to Luna. She's hyperlinked right here. We're going to move to her contact record. Her number is 51913. I'm kind of that spontaneous person. Let's just test that on the fly. 51913. Shoot. Okay. Well, I took a chance. All right. So the answer is no. We're not going to be able to search by record number. But I have written that down and we'll talk with the appropriate team. Maybe I'm searching for it an incorrect way. Not sure, but we will come back to that. Okay. So let's move on to contact record. All right, so Miss Luna is my go-to person. We've got all the basics on this record. Obviously, you're going to have address. We're going to visit her in person. You've got a quick link to her location. Maybe we just want to add a gift. We're going to come up here later. Yes, everyone is assigned. Maybe I needed to put a number in there. Well, now I'm intrigued because I want to make that work. But everyone is assigned a unique record number when they're adding their constituents to the database. We're going to come back to this in just a second. You're going to have some give over time statistics once your data, if you go through, use us for your data conversion. This information is, automatically going to populate based on your history. And as you can see here, we've got some pertinent information about Luna and her gift giving, last, total, average, lifetime giving. Nothing you need to build here. This is going to auto-populate real time every time you have an engagement with your constituent person, and it's going to auto-populate after data conversion. Now let's go back to Smart Donor Score. I love this database. So Smart Donor Score is powered by Donor Search. And what this is representing, and this comes with the system, there's nothing added here. So let's talk about this first number. And when we talk about reports, I know I'm asking a lot of y'all here to, kind of take some side notes, but when we look at the reports that are already built in, I'm going to point something out to you about this Smart Donor Score. But for now, what does all this mean? So every constituent is going to be assigned a number between 1 and 100. 100 being the highest, that's your goal. This person has, this is your heartbeat number. This is how connected you are to this constituent. Okay, this is based on what you know, your information. So your RFM score. It's looking at a kind of a secret sauce formula behind the scenes that's calculating your RFM score, your last date, last gift date, your number of gifts, total giving, average gift. It's taking all of that into consideration. So can a Smart Donor Score drop? Sure can, because if the engagement with this person falls off, it's going to start going in reverse. It's not a static one-time score. I love that score. So the other two pieces that are included with every CRM is a donor search rating and estimated giving capacity. So the rating, this is a donor search rating. Now this is not a real person, but what you would see is a donor search rating between 1-1 and 1-5. Okay. So the first number in that rating, donor search is letting you know their confidence of the match based on what they have in their philanthropic wealth database. So they're giving you a confidence rating. The second number there is looking at their ability to give. The information, they have a deep philanthropic database. So they're also providing you with a score to say, we believe this is your person, plus minus, and their ability to give or give more, plus minus. It's going to be built into that donor search rating score. And we can go over that in detail in training. Estimated gift capacity, this is an indicator. So where 78 is the heartbeat of how connected I am to Luna today, the estimated gift capacity powered by donor search is saying this person is capable and has made a 4-figure gift, 5,600 and some change, to other organizations. They are looking at political giving, they're looking at individual philanthropic giving, but they're telling you that this could be your ask amount today. Perhaps it could be a goal of yours, a strategy to get this person to this ask amount. The reason I say a strategy to get there is because if I just made a donation to your organization, first time donor, $25, you're not going to say, hey, can you give me 5,675? Hope that all makes sense to everybody. So think about this first number that we provide you as the heart, and the other donor search pieces as the wallet potential of where you could be going. So this also helps you prioritize. This helps you learn more about this donor, and it's going to help you prioritize as to how much time, effort, so on and so forth that you would spend with this person. Okay, let's move on to the rest of this contact profile. So we've added, we've got some tabs that we can click into here. We're not going to click into everything, but a basic contact profile is going to do exactly what it needs to do. Who is this person? How do they want to be recognized when we're communicating with them? Do they qualify for a tag? So tags are unlimited. There's a lot of unlimited in this system. So tags are unlimited. You could have, we have a couple examples here, but you could have a tag for grouping. Think of this as more of a static grouping. So grouping by major gift donor, grouping by if, unfortunately you learn somebody is deceased. You could have a deceased tag and also, at a deceased date. So, what and how are you grouping today? You have that availability there. Now, notes section, unlimited. And this is where I like to point out, I love this because data is not being held hostage in your donor management system. It's your data. You should have access to it at any time. So be it inside the system or outside the system. And I'm saying that to say this, every field in this system can be reported or filtered on. We are going to look at reports and filters. Every field can be reported on, and data can be exported to Excel. You're going to see that sprinkled throughout the system with key areas that you may want to just export to Excel. John made it very, very easy. Not CSV file, Excel. You know, you've got options here. Now, the contact methods, unlimited. You know, these are my examples, but you're unlimited. You can add what you want. Addresses, unlimited. Maybe you want to connect this to a spouse at the same record. Luna is connected to Wiggly Wands Inc. So you can have business addresses. You can have business contact records, obviously individual contact records. They pretty much operate the same. Now, custom fields. I'm only going to spend like a second here. Custom fields. I have had this question asked of me. Well, how come you don't just go ahead and include this in the system? Well, there's a good reason for that, because as I had said before, you know, John and Nikki knew what the obvious must-haves would be for all nonprofit organizations, but you may not be a membership organization. You may not be a school that needs graduation year. You may not have a whole volunteer availability section, or maybe you're a humane society and you want pet name. So these are my examples for organizations to start thinking about what is unique for you, because you are going to have the flexibility to add your own custom fields. There was no reason to add these fields to the donor CRM and create clutter. A donor management system is, you know, that's maintenance enough, but no reason to add the clutter. Okay, activities. I'm going to spend a second here. Activities, you saw this on the dashboard when I was logged in. There were 2 that needed to complete. I hit complete and completed one, but I still have something outstanding here that I need to accomplish today. Activities section on every constituent record is your footprint, your historical record, your log, call it whatever you want, but this is your historical footprint of everything that happens within this system. So if you add a gift, if you thank somebody for that gift, which we're going to look at next, if you communicate with, if you are communicating with your constituents using our collect donations options, that information is going to drop into their historical records. So you can report on this, you can look at our activities section, which if we have time, we will. But you can get access to this without going to each individual record. Oh, and you can also download everything you want to Excel. Okay, so let's add a new record or a new activity quickly, because if this is your system and you've got 10 users, doesn't matter, 20 users, you would have a pull down for your users in the system. Why is that important? Because you can assign tasks to other team members to take action. So who is the person? What is the activity type? Unlimited, do what you want there with adding your activities. What is the due date? Well, tomorrow, you know, and it's going to automatically fill in due time and completion time. But notes, call Luna. We're going to keep it kind of quick and simple here. So we all know how to fill out a to-do list. Now, these custom fields that are on the activity, these are specific examples to if you are tracking grants, they're tied to an activity. If you have a moves management process in place, they are tied to an activity. This is where you would want those custom fields to live and keep you on task and keep your deadlines straight, because they're going to show up on that dashboard that we looked at before. So last thing I want to show you about activities is when you close an activity, you're going to get a window that gives you the opportunity to sync this with your personal calendar. So I know y'all appreciate that. I've heard it on personal demos. So with that, we're going to go ahead and close this. And Madison, if you need to interrupt me at any time, you feel free, but I'm going to move right in to adding a new gift for Luna. Are we all good, Madison?
Yep, we're good. I'm saving a few questions for the end, so good to keep going.
Okay. All right. Now, something I did not ask you to do, darn it. I was going to ask you to make note of Luna's total gift amount that was on her contact record. And I believe it sits at 69. So jot that down. All right. So this system is so smart. It's going to say, hey, I know you just received a gift. You do have pledge payments out there for Luna, or is this all about adding a new gift? It's going to remind you and not make you go to all kinds of sections and figure it out. So we're keeping it simple today with the gift that we're going to add. Now, another thing that was important that John and Nikki understood about the foundation of building this system is easy, 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 and intuitive, step-by-step process. So depending on how this gift comes in, you're going to watch this move across the top. Depending on how this gift comes in, the appropriate screens will open up. We're going to do a check gift, but if this were stock or property and we click that and move to next, we have a lot of next prompts in here. It would just take you to the appropriate screen so you can fill out the answers, but we're going to enter a check gift today. So, yep, check came in. Today's the date. She's generous today. $25,000 gift. You'll see that these two fields are required. The reason they are required, because you should always know why you are receiving a gift. We're going to go with dragon drooling or dueling. And not only why am I receiving this gift, your solicitation code, your appeal code, call it whatever you want, but you're not going to move past go until you tell yourself why you're receiving the gift. And where is this information going? So again, unlimited. These will be your fund account codes. These are examples, obviously a little red X, you can get rid of this, but this is all discussed during your data conversion. We're going to keep it unrestricted. How do you want to, this is required, how do you want to follow up with your constituent? Letter and an email. And the reason that's important when we get to the acknowledgement section is because we may have multiple addresses. Maybe we're sending this to the company address. Maybe they have 6 addresses there because they live in Colorado part-time or Charleston part-time. So you've got options. Where is this going to, and where is that email address or acknowledgement going through? So kind of keeping in the back of your mind, we're entering this gift and we're setting it up to be able to acknowledge this gift immediately. Next step, you can tie this to a specific campaign, totally up to you. You can give credits to where credit's due if this is supposed to go to a specific solicitor. The notes section. The notes section, going to say it again, everything is reportable in notes and fields. You can report on this field. So this is tied to a gift. So do you want to put check number in there? Is this in honor of someone? Tribute account, whatever you want to put in there, and it does not have to be consistent with how it's entered. I know got some data entry people thinking about that, and the reason for that we'll talk about later when we look at filters. You hit next. We don't have any custom fields today, but if we did, we could populate it there, and then you get to the gift summary. So the gift summary is, giving you a second here. Does this look good? Is this what you wanted to do? Yep, that looks good. And this is everybody's favorite part of adding a gift, is our way of congratulating you for a $25,000 gift or whatever the case may be. You're always going to get some happy confetti. So at this point, you can move right into thanking a donor. I've actually spent more time talking about this than it would be for you to move through the entire process. But kind of want to point out the obvious here. You can go to another donor, you can add more gifts, but we are going to move to thanking a donor. At this point, I want to stop, kind of bring it back home to that donor retention rates and that annual revenue retention rate. So research supports. This isn't something that we came up with, I came up with, or just John. Yeah, research supports in the industry that you are going to have a higher donor retention rate if you are following up same day. So we want to help you with that. which is why this is all under one roof, to be able to add that gift, acknowledge that donation, and have your reports update in real time. So the example that we like to use is, if you think about this as your average lifetime donor value gift of being $1,000. If you do have a lifetime gift donor at $1,000 and you are hitting at about 40%, this is going to equate to a lifetime donor value of $1,600 and some change. Okay, if we can help you increase that by being able to immediately acknowledge and do all of these fun things in the CRM, you can increase that retention rate to 60%. We obviously want you to go higher than 60%, but if you do increase to 60%, that lifetime donor value of $1,600 now has grown to a average donor lifetime value of $2,500. Cross that over your constituent database. This is going to help you realize exponentially more donations. Now, let's move into how to thank a donor. All right, so thanking a donor, it's going to default to pending. We know we just entered a gift for Luna. You can look at all statuses. You can look at sent. You're not just, locked into pending. You're going to have unlimited, again, you're going to have unlimited template creation capability. Your system is going to come with two templates, the standard template, and I believe special event template is the other one. Let's look quickly at this standard template. The reason I want to show you this is because we've already built it for you. For one, out of the gate, all you have to do is do a little bit of editing, obviously, your logo. Maybe you want to do some different system fields. This is system generated, hashtag generated. You've got a utility bar across the top. We all know what that means. You can add some graphics, you can customize. You're going to have this template to build on to make it your own. Now, if you're doing an email, you can configure the email. Put in your own subject line, make it come from a person. You can BCC yourself, whatever you do, you're going to save everything. Oh, you also have HTML capability. So we're to the thanking donor part. We have these pending. Yep, we want to do the standard acknowledgement. Now we want to preview these donor letters. This is remember, it's a step-by-step walk you through. So we've got these letters. You could have 100 letters lined up here. And you scroll down and you're looking at them, everything, yeah, looks good, looks good, looks good. But maybe because we're visiting Luna in October, maybe we do have 50 letters here and we want to edit this letter, just hers personally. Looking forward to seeing you in October. And of course, we're going to save that. So when we take the next step to produce our letters, she's been personalized. So next step, confirm and send. System's going to say, hey, you're about to email Luna and everybody else this acknowledgement. You happy with that? Yes. And do you want to create that letter that you said you wanted to create? Yes. So you hit next. I am not going to pull this down because we all know what a PDF file looks like, but the system automatically creates that letter for you. And you would pull that down, you send it to the printer. And because we've already established that we're sending letters in addition to the email, do you want to print envelopes? Yes, we want to print envelopes. Same exercise. And we've already built this for you. So nothing you need to do here unless you use something other than a number 10 standard envelope. Maybe you already have pre-printed envelopes, so you can take out the logo, add your logo, whatever you want to do. But we've got all the basics set up for you to be able to just swiftly, quickly move through this process, get those thank you letters out, grow your donor retention rate. So same exercise, you would pull down that PDF of envelopes, get those in the printer, hit finish. And because once again, you have a positive action moving forward with this process, we give you another little burst of happiness. Okay, so where'd my arrow go? There we go. All right, so we are going to move to reports and filters, but before we do that, I want you to see the gift listing. So the gift listing, I've been telling you that it updates in real time. So I went right here, there it is, there's our $25,000 gift. And if I go to, oh, let's do that. Go to Luna's record, automatically last gift in seconds. Last gift, 25,000, 70. I remember I told you, jot that down. 69 was when we were there last. 70 gifts. Everything has been updated accordingly based on that quick gift entry. Now, with pledges, same exercise. We're not going to add a pledge today, but all of these steps have that same functionality to walk you through the appropriate next screens. Very intuitive. So now let's look at reports. I love reports. I love reports. Looks like only 3 reports. Reports is also kind of a bone of contention with organizations when I'm talking to them. Can't do this, can't do that, hard to get the information out. So these 3 reports come with the system. And let's look at the first one, donor report. Again, you are going to see this capability not being held hostage. Download everything you want to Excel. You can put in whatever dates you want to. You can filter your donor report. We haven't looked at filters yet, but we will. You can add a filter to your donor report. So this is more than just your basic one single report. Flexible. Now, what I wanted to show you here, remember when we were talking about the Smart Donor Score? This is my tip of the day for y'all. When we were talking about the Smart Donor Score on Luna's record, I said, not remind me, but we're going to talk about this on donor report. So you can sort, you see that, we all know how to do that. You can sort on that Smart Donor Score. I know, you know, your major gift donors. We know that. But you may have some surprises in here. You may have some individuals that are on the kind of walking that fine line. So I think a strategy that you could talk amongst yourselves as team members, what if we have that Smart Donor Score and we look at a score of 60 and higher, 55 and higher? There's no rules to this, but let's say a Smart Donor Score of 60 and higher. Should we be reaching out to those individuals more strategically? And what is that messaging going to look like? So you could have a filter based on that Smart Donor Score, use our collect donations, which we'll click into hopefully in just a minute. And you would be able to message your organization strategy based on what we're already including in that donor score for you on every record. Now, and as you could see, everything was hyperlinked, so you can click in. Segmented financial report, going to hit this a little bit. Same look and feel, put in whatever dates you want. You can add filters, but here's what we like about the solicitation field. And I'm going to go straight to general ledger. As you can see, there are some, maybe you want to see campaigns, but we're going to look at general ledger. We're going to apply that. We're looking at just this year, January to the 20th. These are for our accounting folks out there. So this report was built to give you a very fast summary, give you the averages, the sum, the total gifts already done for you. Yes, you can export to Excel. You can also drill into the details if you want to see the details for that. That's what our fund accounting folks are using. Campaign, quick glimpse. You're going to have your campaigns in there, but it gives you that quick segmented financial summary report. And finally, on our reports, trend analysis. All right, so this gets really clever because you do not, you're comparing one period to a past period. All right, I think you can see that there. You're comparing period 1 to period 2. We've already built this for you. So you can put in whatever dates you want. They don't have to be identical dates, make it make sense for you. You can add filters. Solicitation method, got those same categories that we were talking about. And let's see how well those campaigns are doing. So then you hit apply. Changes instantly, real time for you. This is not a wait. And you can, as you can see here, you can drill in for the detail. We give you the percentages plus minus. You want to see some pluses on there. Extremely fast way to get comparisons year to year, over and over. Filters. Let me touch on filters here, because if we didn't answer all your questions with those donor reports, which we know you're going to have your own personal way of doing things, your system is going to come preloaded with filters. And filters do not require an SQL language, nothing complicated about this. But to help you out, we're going to preload with some pretty basics here. You can see what they say. Some pretty basic filters of, live bunt, side bunt, maybe first time, single gift donors, first time donor. Got a lot of questions answered here. If this doesn't cover it for you, you have the flexibility to build your own. Build your own filters. Sky's the limit. Like I said, all fields, notes sections, they are reportable. I'm going to show you a real simple one here because I think I'm running out of time. I hate to run out of time. All right, so how do you build a filter? I'm going to prove it that you don't need an SQL language. So if you were to click on new filter, you're going to be asked, is this contacts? Is this transactions? What do you want to look at? Show me what you want to look at. So for this one, I am looking at transactions. All it's going to say is, what do you want to see? Value, sum, average. Do you want to see gift amount? You've got all your system fields there. I mean, really, you just scroll and answer a few questions. Greater than, equal to, less than, equal to. We've all used this language. And I said 500. I also said I want to see folks in Ohio, just to kind of give you some combination there. You can add other conditions. These are just and, or, and not conditions. Super simple. Maybe on the fly, I want to change this and say, I've got a special filter I want to build. I want to reach out to my $1,000 givers in Ohio. The reason I'm pointing that out is because this just changed on the fly, and it's telling you, all right, you've got 32 individuals that you could pull into a filter. I'm looking at collect donations here. I think we have some questions coming in. Here's some things there. So we could pull things into a filter. This is a dual operational feature where you have unlimited forms you can generate for activity from your website to the CRM. And this is also where you would complete communications based on date ranges. These are constituents down here. These would be yours. So Madison, you got a couple questions for me?
Yeah, actually, and I was going to say we might want to wrap up just because we only have a few minutes left, and we'll save those questions for the end. But I actually did just want to jump in. I reached out to Nikki, one of the founders of the CRM, and also works with the developers very closely. And she said that donor ID search we tried earlier should have worked. Not sure why it didn't. So she'll follow up on that. But a workaround, if you come into an issue with any of the searches using the donor CRM system, you can put anything into the notes section of your donor record, and that notes section is fully searchable. So if you're encountering any issues with that search function, the notes section is fully searchable. So just wanted to call that out if you're using donor IDs for, membership searching or, specific numbers, anything like that you need to, identify your donors with specifically, you can use the notes field. So just wanted to jump in before you finish up, but we do have some questions for you coming very soon.
Okay, awesome. You know what? Good to know. Very good to know. Hey, by the way, Nikki is our senior product manager. She is the perfect person to have behind the scenes that is going to keep working on this platform for even greater, if there could be, but there will be greater enhancements later. I'm really at the end here, and unless you wanted me to talk about collect donations and what, let me just add this. I know we don't have time to go into a full explanation of collect donations, but y'all want to hear more. We actually have a pretty amazing video on this, and it's painless and only lasts about 4 minutes. And it will show everything about generating that donation link for your website and how this piece works with being able to send those communications out that are also captured and kept in that activity section under each constituent record. So with that, my last thing, and this will take 2 seconds, we have a learning center. That's John Biederman, by the way, if you have not met him. We have a learning center by topic. And yes, this does say Simply Fundraising CRM, but you know, we're GiveSmart Donor CRM. These are 4 or 5 minute videos. They are amazing. They're wonderful. You will always have access to these. In addition to, yes, you know, we have professional training. I'm a firm believer, been doing this for many, many years, firm believer, use the experts for your initial training, and then you always have access to the Learning Center. So I'm going to exit out of this. Madison, you can, you know, while I'm doing this, you can interrupt me at any time. We're going to go back to the PowerPoint. Yay. We did the demo. Oh.
Yeah, I was going to say we only have a couple more things before the Q&A. We can go through those really, really quickly. Thank you, everyone, for your time. So I think, Nancy, as you click through, I will go ahead and get a poll started real quick. You've seen a lot, you've heard a lot. We want to know if you would like if you would like to be contacted by GiveSmart for either more information on the system, or if you would like a personalized demo of how the system with GiveSmart's other systems, fundraising events, could work for your organization. Go ahead and throw your name and email into the chat. I'll be taking notes of anyone who wants to be contacted. There will also be an opportunity after this session ends for you to do a post-webinar survey and raise your hand there as well to be contacted. So just wanted to call that out really quickly. Go ahead and throw that into the chat if you'd like more information. And we'll keep going. Nancy or Richard, I'll pass it back to you.
Okay. At this time, I think I'm going to defer to you, Madison. Do we have time for some Q&A, or Richard, do you want to close us out?
Yeah, let's we have a few questions that I think are we definitely want to get those covered. If we don't get to every single question, which we are at the top of the hour very soon here, we will be sure to follow up with everybody to get these answers, or these questions answered. Sorry about that. So let's jump to one from, so we got, can you do a gift batch inside the CRM rather than uploading from a CSV file?
So that's kind of a we have you know, I should have stayed with my demo. Above dashboard, there is a link called Launchpad, and on Launchpad we have an import contacts template feature and an import gifts template feature. This is not meant to be used for data conversion, but this is what you would use while we are working on, this is why I came back to this screen, but while we are working on that full integration between these modules, we do have batch import capability, and we're streamlining that with our clients as we're working with them.
Awesome. Okay, this is a good one. And I think this is a good one just because I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of people that would ask this. Does the CRM integrate with QuickBooks?
On the roadmap,
Yep.
that is popular. It has been on the roadmap, clear transparency. I'm not exactly sure where it is on the roadmap today. And the reason being for that is because of the suite. You're looking at the fundraising suite. This is the #1 priority for community brands and GiveSmart, that we get this functionality with full integration working for you. But QuickBooks is on the roadmap.
Awesome. this is actually, this one's just interesting for me. Is there a way to identify test data so you don't have to filter those out on every report?
Wait, say that again?
Is there a way to identify test data so you don't have to filter those out on every report?
You can do a preview. If I think I would need more, I'd love to talk with that person. I think I need more information around that. Test data, meaning you want to see the results of a report or the results of a filter before you save it.
Well, the good news is, Nancy, I think we can get you in contact with the questionee.
Yeah, I need more conversation around
Yeah.
that. I think I'm missing a little something there, and I apologize for that.
No, that's all right. Let's do one more. I've got a few here. Just want to make sure. When you invite a team member, basically as a user in the CRM, can you limit their access to view only?
Not at this time. The difference between, and that's also in discussion, but not at this time. There are two levels of users. There is a super user. There's the admin, the super user that has the ability to cut people off and invite people. And then there is the user.
Awesome. Well, very cool. So yeah, we're 1 minute over. So apologies on that side, but like I said, every question that we did have come in, we're going to do our best to get those answered within the next day or so. So please be on the lookout for an email from one of the team members here at GiveSmart. But on that note, it is time to say farewell for today and in this webinar. Please use that end of webinar survey to share your feedback with us and request contact if you want to learn more. So thank you to everyone who joined us, and thank you, Nancy, for your time, your wise words, and extending your expertise to all of us. And we will see you all next time.